Hey everyone, it's Richard Metalfan here, bringing you guys a brand new 2021 album review. And today we're going to be talking about the new album from the band Archspire entitled Bleed the Future, which is out now through Season of Mist Records. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Archspire, they're a technical death metal band from Vancouver, Canada. These guys have been around since 2009. And I discovered Archspire back in 2018, I believe, when they were on the tour with Obscura, Beyond Creation, and Reverie. Pretty much saw them, and I was pretty blown away. And they were pretty damn good live. Um, and they've been putting out their album since their debut album, which came out in 2011, entitled All Shall Align, and I thought that was a really good album. Um, and then they put out such great albums such as the Lucid Collective, which is another good album. And then their last album, which came out in 2017, called Relentless Mutation, and I thought that was a really good album. And then here we are with their fourth album, Bleed the Future. Does it kind of live up or exceed what Relentless Mutation has? Which then honestly, that was the album that really got me into this band. In honest opinion, I think it definitely has. I feel like Archspire themselves really stepped it up. Like, all the members are really talented at what they do. They definitely have like moments when they're in the spotlight and they later really they need to shine, and then when it's time for the other members to shine as well, they sort of back off and let them shine. And that's what thing I love about this band. Like, all of them are really technical and really great, but they don't really like show off and just have guitar wankery and stuff. Let's just dive right into it. Like, the vocals about Ollie Peters or Oliver Ray Alirin, if I probably butchered his name, but I think he's a really great vocalist. Like, he does like those really fast vocals, like that just really just fast in your face. Like, it's just really fast. I feel like he could compete with like in a rapper per battle with like Eminem or something, and just he's just fucking sick. The guitar work on this album is tight. Toby Morelli and Dean Lamb's guitar playing is tight as ever. Just like the riffs they come up with, great, and just shred-tastic. It's just sick. And the bass on this album is pretty audible. Jared Smith, in my opinion, is one of the best bassists in metal going on right now. Like I've seen like a lot of the bass playthroughs on YouTube, and Jared just is fucking mind-blowing. The fact that he does like tapping and stuff, he really just showcases well, and it just showcases. I always say it, like with the bass, I feel like the bass showcases not just rhythm but also has a place for melody too. Like, it really just follows with like the guitars, and also just follows what the drums are doing rhythmically. And the drumming from Spencer Pruitt, his drums are really great as ever. So, without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is Drone Corpse Aviator. Now, right from the get-go, this song is just punchy and just very groovy, whilst having that signature kind of Archspire sound. And the twin guitar work from Dean and Toby are just as quick to launch into like a filthy breakdown, and it has like really fast licks and just sweet picking sections. And I think this is a really good way to start off this album. Then we move on to Golden Mouth of Ruin. And this is a song that is kind of surprising, to be honest. It opens up with a drum circuitry, kind of fucking weird, amazing drums. And Archspire opts to more of like the chug rhythm based approach for this song, before kind of like having a more familiar techie arrangements, which we have grown to expect from these guys. And then has a really great breakdown on here. Next up is Abandon the Linear. Now, this song opts to more of the low-tempo arpeggios, reminiscent of something like Beyond Creation or even early Faceless. This before saying that enough of that, and then pushing us yet again through just the riff machine. And then Jared just gets on the action, just refuses to be backed into a corner by the guitar sections, and it really takes the center for the interlude. And like I said, I think Jared's like one of the best bassists going right now. Then we move on to the title track of the album, Bleed the Future. And right from the get-go, I feel like there's a more emphasis laid on like straightforward rhythm section, hence with sort of like Archspire's like trademark level of insanity. And the centerfold on this song is what makes this track an instant favorite. From like the bouncy rhythms with the hummable melody, and a welcome break from like the barrage of tones and the semitones that thrown throughout the song. And there's something to said about like the predictability without compromising the density of this writing, and this sections are the proof of that. Next up is Drain of Incarnation. Now this song is pretty interesting. It's a very stripped down track, especially in like the intro, and also has a very melancholic, and it's a little bit out of nature. And it pretty much resets like your whole mind and your viewpoint of the album so far. And then once it moves in, the song just takes out, and the guitar playing gets technical with the sort of the heaviness that lies underneath it. Acrid Cannon's up next, and this is pretty much where the drums and the vocals here ground it. Like the heaviness of the vocals go really well with the heaviness of the drums. It really solidifies sort of like the bass in here. And there is like a constant balance, and it feels really well. Oh, and the guitars just push the melody here, and it also creates a really massive wall of sound. Reverie of the Onyx is up next, and this is the closest Archspire have come to brazenly writing a double like concerto like section in the middle of a technical death metal song. And from the days of like Necrofate, just the tech death has always been, if it was sort of like that kind of like old school kind of like neoclassical fare, and it's plenty apparent why it's the case here in this song. And then we close things out with AUM. Now this song begins with a kind of like a weird funny sample before hitting us with that kind of chugginess, and really just has a cut in of like some good acoustic melodies, some really great bass runs, and some ambient solos thrown in, and I think it's a strong way to end this album. Now overall, Bleed the Future by Archspire, another good album to their discography. I feel like the guys have stepped it up. So if I had to give this album a score, I'm going to give Bleed the Future by Archspire a solid 9.5 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of the new album, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.